Hey Cozy Crew, it's Jessica with Stay Cozy Creative Co. And today I'm going to show you how to piece together 3 of my sunflower granny squares into this adorable tote bag. You might remember in May of 2024 when I first came up with this sunflower granny square and made it into a smaller handbag. And then in June, I went on vacation and crocheted this handbag with 3 granny squares. So I decided what would happen if I pieced these 2 ideas together. And here we are today with the larger tote bag. So let's get started. If you haven't made my sunflower granny square before, the full video tutorial is available on my website at staycozyco.com. This video will not show you how to make the squares, it will just show you how to piece them together into the tote bag. To get started, I need to figure out which color I want to use to piece these together, and I honestly hadn't decided before filming this what color I was going to use, but I have the 3 coordinating colors that I had used for the squares, and then I also grabbed the green because I just thought that it would look kind of nice and maybe ground it a little bit, like with a natural look to it. I should also mention that each of these colors of chenille yarn are available on my website, as well as many more if you need any yarn for your next project. Right now I'm just laying the squares out in the way that I will be piecing the bag together, and then I'm just going to lay each color of yarn kind of across it to see what I think. And honestly, as soon as I laid the pink across, although I think that would coordinate so well, I was thinking in my mind that I'll probably just do orange so that there isn't like little weird pieces sticking out, and I kind of just want it to be all congruent, and then maybe use a different color for the handle when I get to that step. So let's jump ahead and get ready to connect these. I'm pushing one of the squares out of the way, and then I'm going to take these 2 and then lay them side by side so both of the finished sides are facing up. And I like to put my yarn underneath my project because I'm going to use a simple slip stitch to connect these squares together. And to get started, we're going to find the corner pieces to both of the squares. So on this one, you can find it in between 2 of the double crochets that are in the corner. And so I'm going to take 1 stitch on this right side and pull a stitch up through the back, and I'm going to pull that same stitch up through the back part of the loop on the left square. So I'm going to keep working that way all the way across. So I'm going to reach down through the loop I made, through the loop on the left side, the loop on the right side, and then pull a new loop up and through from the bottom. So I'm going to show you again, lay that loop down on top of the next one, and then make sure you grab the other square and then pull a loop all the way up and through. So you should be pulling a new loop up through 3 loops. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then pull your new loop up and through. I'm going to zoom in down the remainder of this side so that if you're having a hard time seeing what I'm doing, or you're just like, what is happening? Hopefully this will help a little bit. So it's really not a difficult process. You just have to pay attention to what loops you're on, and especially with this fluffy chenille yarn, just making sure that you're actually grabbing the next loop and not skipping ahead or going through the same loop twice. Another thing to pay attention to is the yarn on the back side of your project that you're pulling up through these loops, because sometimes you can end up having excess yarn if you aren't being careful to grab it right next to where you've been working. So we just got to the next corner, and you can make sure that you are in the right loops by making sure that they still line up on both of your squares. And then once we finish that off, we're going to fold our squares differently and work up our next side. I know I flipped those quickly, but basically you're going to flip your squares over so that the back sides are facing up, and then pull those corners up towards each other so that you have 2 triangles or half squares. And we're just going to continue our slip stitch up the next side. So just like we did on that first side, we're now going to work up this second side and make sure that you're connecting both squares together as you go. I'm going to keep working, but if you feel like you just aren't quite getting it yet, always feel free to stop this video, rewind, and rewatch as often as you need. Or if you feel like you got it, feel free to skip ahead and catch up with me when we reach the next corner. I'm to the next corner, but I am realizing that my loops are off. I have an extra loop on my right side than I do on my left, and for a moment I contemplated just going with it and just making it connect as best I could. But then I decided I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to do it right, especially since it's just one side. So if you find yourself in the same place as me, you can either skip ahead or you can undo it like I did and restart. I decided to leave this part in my video because even as someone who has hand crocheted for several years, I just wanted to show you that it's still possible to make a mistake. So I just came down to this last corner and I found the one that I did indeed skip on the left side, and so we'll make sure that I don't miss it this time. So I'm going to fast back forward to that corner so that we can get moving to the next part. And good news, I made it to this corner without missing a stitch this time. So we're just going to connect that first stitch of the corner together with a slip stitch, just like we've been doing. And then we're going to lay our bag into place so that we can connect our next square. It was at this exact moment that I realized my orange on my two squares did not match. They were two different shades, and I don't know if I missed this as I was making these, which is possible, or if it was because I blocked these with water and if it changed the coloring somehow. So I'm not sure, but here I was contemplating what to do and then decided I'm just going to keep going forward, and I think it'll be fine. For this next connection, we're going to work our way back down these two squares. So you're going to find those corner stitches again. Make sure that they line up on both of your squares, and then we're going to continue our slip stitches down this side. I'm going to keep working and showing this whole process just so if you need to watch the whole thing, you are welcome to do that. If you feel like you know what you're doing and know where we're going with this, always feel free to fast forward. But we're basically going to work our way down to the next corner, and then we'll flip this over and work our way back up to the center. As we make it back up to the center here, you have a couple of options. So you can either finish off your stitch and just leave your bag open like this, or as I've decided to do, I'm going to actually continue my slip stitch up my bag just a little bit. I want the sides to be a little bit higher just so I can fit more stuff in it and things don't fall out the side. But this is definitely personal preference, so feel free to stitch as high as you want or to just leave your bag as is. This is my third stitch up the side here, so I'm going to see how I like that, and I think I want to do one more stitch so it's a little bit higher. So I'm going to make a fourth stitch and then stand it up again to see what I think. and actually I think it's too high, so I'm going to undo that last one and just stick with my 3 stitches. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and trim my yarn. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail because I haven't decided yet how I'm going to finish off that end and just want to make sure that I have plenty to work with. And I'm going to go back to my other side to stitch up 3 slip stitches so that it looks the same on both sides. I'll need to start a new slip stitch on this side, so I'm going to go through that center loop from the row that I had done before, and then I'm going to go through both sides of the square so that I connect them together. So you should have 3 loops, and then you're going to pull your newest loop through. Make sure you leave a little bit of a tail at the bottom, and then I'm going to work up the side of the bag. This is my 3rd stitch here, and then I actually end up making a 4th stitch on this side. Since I connected the slip stitch new from the beginning, I ended up having 1 extra loop that made it even. So if that's your case, as long as it looks even on both sides, that's honestly my gut response to creating things. Is as long as it looks even, then it's fine. If that really bothers you, you can just do 3. But again, since I was adding a new slip stitch to that other side, I did 1 extra loop. And now it's time to grab your lighter if you're using one of those to finish off your yarn. And I'm going to pull the tail of this yarn all the way through so that I can loop my yarn back in on itself. And I'm just going to use the lighter to singe the ends together. So I think this will be easier done by flipping my bag inside out. If you aren't using a lighter, you are welcome to knot your yarn or use another way that you are used to, but I like the lighter method and it's pretty seamless. So I'm just going to loop these tails under one of the loops right above and below them, and then trim my yarn so that they're just touching, and then use my lighter to singe both of those ends and then gently press them together. If you've never used the lighter method before and are curious as to whether it will hold up or not, the answer is yes. But if you don't believe me, I do have a video showing 4 different ways to connect chenille yarn together, and then also another video showing the strength of those and how they hold up. Once this side is done, we're just going to flip our bag over and finish off the end on the other side. Since this is the exact same process, I'm going to jump ahead to the handle. So we're going to flip our bag back to right side out to get started. I'm going to grab my different colors of yarn to figure out what I want to use for the handle, and I'm kind of contemplating using all 3 of these. But then I decided, no, I'm just going to go with the green. You might disagree with me. I know that the pink would have looked really good too, but I just kind of had my heart set on the green from the beginning, and so I think I want to add this. Now seeing it in the video, I realize that it kind of resembles a pumpkin with the orange and green, but I chose it and I stick by it. So for the handle, there are a lot of different ways that you could do this. You could use different materials. You could do a single chain stitch, which is actually how I started this. And then I decided I wanted a little more security in making sure that it wouldn't snap. And so I decided to do this extra loop. So I went in one side, went over to the other and did a knot. And then I tested it out to see what length I wanted and to make sure that I liked it. And then I'm actually going to do a chain stitch kind of over under this strand of yarn. It took me a second to figure out how I was going to start this chain stitch, but I ended up just wrapping my yarn around the handle once and then making a loop on the outside and working my way across. So I'm going to do a chain as usual, but I'm just going to crisscross over the top of my single strand of yarn. And my hope is that this will just give it a little more structure, a little more stability, while still maintaining the look of the chain that I wanted. Once I got to the other side, I grabbed my scissors and trimmed my yarn, and then I just pulled the tail through, and then I decided to loop it around that handle spot there in the top part of my square, just again for more stability. And then I'm going to trim both tails of my yarn and then use my lighter to fuse those together. Again, if you don't have a lighter or aren't comfortable using one, you can always just use a knot to connect these end pieces and then trim your yarn so that you don't have any loose tails hanging off. Once I fuse the ends, I'm going to let that cool so that it does not pull apart and just clean up my space a little bit. And congratulations, you have made your very own Granny Square Tote Bag. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and enjoyed this project and that you find a lot of use for your bag. Another option for finishing this off is to add a liner on the inside. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but I'm very excited to use this at the market and throughout the summer. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, Stay Cozy Creative Co. You can find more tutorials there on my channel as well as on my website and yarn and DIY kits at staycozyco.com. I'm Jessica with Stay Cozy Creative Co. and thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay cozy, creative, and kind.